From the Ear to There Travel Studio, this is the Ear to There Disney Podcast.
The Ear to There Podcast, it's time to start the show. Be sure to hold on tight, here we go. Exploring all the different Disney destinations. Ear to There, it's time to start the fun.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Ear to There Disney Podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gramlich. I'm also the owner and the founder of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney specialized travel agency. Of course, it is my job to take away all of that stress, all of that anxiety, and all that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip, because trust me, it takes a heck of a lot of time. And I want you to focus on the fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. And I take away all that stress, all that anxiety, and I give you back all that time at absolutely no extra cost to you. So yeah, if you book with me, you will pay the exact same price that you would pay if you booked directly with Disney. Well, actually, hopefully you would pay a little less, because Disney's not going to come back and say, hey, there's a promotion that was released. Let me apply it to your already booked reservation and save you a little bit of money. But I will, in fact, do that. I also take care of all your dining, all your fast passes, your special event tickets, transportation, plane tickets, golf tee times, you name it. As much or as little of your trip that you want me to book, I will take care of at absolutely no cost. So let me be your guide, right? Let me be your sidekick. Let me be the gargoyles to your Quasimodo. I'll sit up in the building. I won't bother you much except to help you out. I won't eat any of your food because I'm made of stone. I might even help you get the girl in the end, or the guy, depends, whoever you want. Anyway, you can find this podcast, my blog, videos, or request a free, no obligation quote over at eartotheretravel.com. Oh, before we get started, I want to hear from you. Send me a message. Go over to eartotheretravel.com/message. Let me know what you think about this week's show or last week's show, any show. If you have a topic for a future upcoming show, if you have something you didn't like about a past episode, let me know. I want to hear it. And for every message I get at eartotheretravel.com/message, you will have a chance to win a free candle from the Magic Candle Company. All right, here we go. This is episode number 141 for the week of September 17th, 2018. Now, grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. And episode number 141 will start off like every other number. And that is with the What About Bob segment. Now, each and every week, Disney legend and retired Imagineer Bob Gurr comes on the show to answer your questions and mine. Now, if you don't know who Bob is, Bob created so many just incredible and amazing things in the Disney theme parks. Like, well, listen, Bob built the first ever monorail on or in the Western Hemisphere. So he designed a monorail in Disneyland. He designed the monorails in Walt Disney World. He built the Doom buggies. He built all the Main Street vehicles, the submarines. The list goes on and on. If you have a question for Bob, please call the voice line. That phone number is 267-551-1971. Or you could always email it to me at phil@eartotheretravel.com. And like every week, Bob's segment is brought to you by the Waltland Bus Tour. And that is where Bob takes a group full of guests around Southern California with stops in Los Angeles and Glendale and in Burbank. You see a bunch of the important sites in the history of the Disney company, but more importantly, in the life of its founder, Walt Disney. To get tickets for the Waltland Bus Tour, just head over to www.waltland.com. All right, without further ado, here's Bob.
It's What About Bob? Bob Gurr, the legend, creator of the Matterhorn, the monorails in the Haunted Mansion. What about
when it comes to the stuff that you kind of built and created, as far as the Disney company goes, do you think you would have been able to create all that stuff if you hadn't worked alongside some of those other Imagineers?
Well, this is a personality issue. The first thing I caught on to very early in life is do not wear a tie. Do not tell somebody that you are a licensed engineer, and don't act the slightest bit officious, because you will turn off so many people, especially people at the shop level and the maintenance level. You want to always be friendly to everybody and understand that on one side of the issue, you could talk to a Walt Disney just with an ordinary conversation. And at the same time, you could go down to the lowest maintenance level that you could find and ask some questions. And you would do it so that your conversation would fit all those levels from the top all the way down to the bottom. A lot of people don't do that. They want to, let's say engineers from Europe who have a diploma engineer, they are constantly going to remind you that they are the engineer and they are in charge. You will irritate people, sometimes to the point that information you really, really want out of them, they won't give it to you because they would rather stand aside doing their work and watch your stupid idea fail, and they won't help you make sure something won't fail. So it's a case of always working with people, never, ordering people. Sometimes you got to order a little bit from the standpoint of time. We can't waste a lot of time. We got a tight schedule. But what you're walking around all the time talking to everybody at every level so that you can see with your own eyes the progress of everything. That's absolutely the key thing.
And that's kind of the way Walt would do business. He was someone that would talk to everyone in the same kind of way, right?
Yes, that was very natural to him.
Was he an intimidating guy to work with, Walt?
He would be intimidating if you weren't very good at what you do. And if you weren't very good at what you do, you really didn't have a long career there.
Okay.
Example, it was pretty common that somebody'd be hired by Walt and they'd be put to work, and then it turns out they're not so hot, or their ego is way too high for Walt's level. And Walt would move them to another building and another room, and then don't send them any mail and don't send any calls. And if they left within a week, he'd figure they were pretty smart. And if they were there at the end of the month, they were a lot dumber than he thought.
Thank you once again to the one and only Bob Gurr for answering yet another question on the show. I hope I didn't put that one in before. Sometimes I go back. I should have a master list. I want to sound like I know what I'm doing most of the time on this podcast. And I do most of the time, but I don't have a master list of questions that I've used and questions that I haven't used. So I got to get on that. So if you want to, if you're bored and you want to let me know if I used that one before, let me know and I'll make sure I don't duplicate another answer. Just because I have hours and hours and hours of Bob talking and answering questions, and I kind of go back and forth on which ones to use. Anyway, thank you to Bob once again for answering yet another question. Thank you for listening to yet another question. And here we go with episode number 141. Back for another show is my new, not weekly co-host, but it seems like it.
It feels like it.
My awesome, my amazing, my lovely wife, Amy Liz Ames. How are you feeling?
So, I've been better, but I'm all right. Hanging in.
The reason why Amy's on 2 episodes in a row is because her health has kind of taken a fun little turn in the last couple of weeks. She had kidney stones, and then on top of that, she has an ovarian cyst, which is a lot of fun and seemingly super painful.
Super fun. Yeah, really painful.
So I haven't had time, or we haven't had the ability to record episodes without Ames, because when the kids are here, we're pretty much all hands on deck. So I thought maybe we could have Amy on another show to get you a new show this week.
Woo woo!
And while she's high on her pain medication,
I didn't take any.
we can tell we can tell a couple stories. So this episode's going to be different. It's not going to be a top 10 list. We're not going to go back and forth on things that we love about Walt Disney World,
Right.
or Disneyland, or the Disney Cruise Line, or Disney movies. What we're going to do is we're going to tell you a couple of stories where we done messed up.
Perfect way to put it.
Let's call this the done messed up episode.
That's perfect. No, that's exactly what it's
What
going to
is
be.
that I done messed up? That's a weird.
I don't know.
Is it like a Southern, or is it like
I think it's Southern. It sounds, you're
I
almost
done
doing a
something?
Southern lilt, I feel
Yeah, I
like.
sound like I
You're
made it
trying.
Southern,
Yes.
but I know it's like a dialect. I just don't know where in the country it's from.
I'm not sure, actually.
I don't want to insult someone if it's like a Midwestern.
It's
thing.
not New York, I don't think.
Not New York, not Pennsylvania, but I done messed up episode.
Yes.
That's what this is going to be. So I consider myself a pro.
Definitely.
I really do.
No, you do.
I not just because of the podcast, not just because of being a former cast member. I just think I've done a ton of research.
Right.
It's all I do all day and night is Disney, right?
Absolutely.
And
And
just-
you've been there so much, and we lived there for a while.
Yeah, we know what we're doing, right?
Usually.
We don't. Yeah. Amy said, I don't know if you picked up on it. Amy said usually, and I said
Not
we know what we're
always.
doing until we don't. But we do know what we're doing. We normally, we don't plan out every second of every trip,
Right.
because with little kids, that's impossible. As our kids get older, I think it's been easier to plan more. But, I feel like we kind of, we're a happy medium. We plan a lot. We kind of fly by the seat of our pants a little. It makes the most sense for us.
It's a good combination.
Right. But, so what I'm getting at is, I feel like we do know what we're doing. We have a really good handle on taking trips to Walt Disney World, on taking trips with kids. But sometimes we mess up.
Even pros have a dud once in a
Yeah,
while.
and this is why I wanted to do the show, because it's, why not be totally transparent? There's two stories we want to tell you.
Yes, they're both winners.
Awesome stories, I
in
think.
terms of story.
I think they're both really good stories. One of them is one that I've never told before. And I thought, why not? Today might be a great day to get that out.
I'll be honest. I suggested it to him, and initially he was like, "No," and then immediately he said, "You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it."
For, you know what it's for? I want to tell. That'll be the second story we tell.
Yes.
For transparency reasons. To be honest and open with the listener. I don't want to have any secrets. I don't want to act like I'm perfect, or I'm far from it, as Amy's giving me a really funny look. Like a dirty look almost. Listen, I know you're in pain from the cyst, but I don't need dirty looks. But no, like, I don't want to put out this Facebook clean, like, squeaky clean image of, I always do everything right, and I do this, I do Disney this way, I do it the right way, you do it the wrong way. It's certainly not who I am.
No, for sure.
And it's not how I handle it.
No.
So, all right, so let's tell the first story.
Okay. And this was a while back.
This was, I think, 3 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So we had, 2.5, 3 years ago.
Right. Because they were little.
We had twins. We have the twins, Jack and Zoe. And then we have Alexa, who's less than 2 years older than them. She's 20 months older than Jack and Zoe. So I'll do the setup. And
Okay,
then,
yeah, do the setup.
And then I'll let you
I'll
kinda
dive
go.
in. Yep, you got it.
And then I'm going to, because you tell the story better than I do.
What else is new?
But all right, now we're going to, geez. I'm just going to blame it on the medication. That
I'm not
you're a
taking
little
any medication.
delusional. That you think you tell better stories than me. But this one you do probably tell better than I do.
I just have told it a lot, so I have it kind of polished.
All right, so let's not set anybody up for failure.
It's not that good.
So we were on a trip to Walt Disney World, as we always are, and we months before had gotten dining, and I've told this in the blog before.
Right, I
never
remember
said
that.
it on the podcast, I don't think. Months before, we had gotten reservations to Hollywood and Vine, but not for breakfast like we usually did.
No, we usually did it for lunch.
For lunch, I'm sorry. Right, that's right. We had done lunch there probably 3 or 4 times before.
At least, yeah.
Oh, lunch with Doc McStuffins and Sophia and Handy Manny and
Jake
Jake from Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
That's right.
Our kids loved it. we decided this trip,
Let's change it up.
Yeah, let's not do the dinner menu looks a little different. Let's do dinner with those characters at Hollywood and Vine. Again, this is a couple years ago, before the mini seasonal Play and Dine was at dinner.
I feel like maybe this is the reason for the mini.
We might be the reason that there's a mini seasonal dine. So we had reservations at like, what do you think it was? Like 5:30
p.m.? 5:30 because it was, yeah.
It was pretty early. All right, so let's.
No, I think it was. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. But I think it was like 5.
I think it was. Yeah, but okay. So all right, let's not argue. It's okay. So we sit down at our table with our children in their princess dresses, Jack in his Mickey shirt, autographed books and pens ready, and Ames, please take it away.
So this was one of their favorite experiences, was going to this restaurant and seeing those characters, those Disney Junior characters, and they were so excited. And we talked about it. We really did talk about it all trip. Oh, and this, by the way, the most compelling part was it was the last night of our trip. No.
We had one more night, I think.
Sorry, second to last night of our trip. But this was our last, like, character dinner, that we had planned and all. This was a big deal. And they were so excited. And
looking forward to it all day and week.
All we talked about was the different characters that we were going to see at the dinner and, what was going to happen and are we going to dance with them and all this stuff, right? So excited. So we all sit down. The kids have their autograph books. Everyone's super psyched. The first thing we notice when we walk in is that there aren't any characters. So
they were, because normally you walk into that meal and you walk in and there's music and there's characters, just, you can spot them all. Like tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. You see them in the different corners. There were no characters in any corner. So instead of immediately being tipped off, we both thought, you know what? I guess because we've never been here for dinner, they must do like a big introduction.
Yeah, they just didn't come out yet.
They're going to all come out together. Maybe this will be a new experience. Like, this is going to be great. It's going to be even fancier. So you guys obviously can already see where this is going. So we have our autograph books out. The server comes over. She takes our drink orders. And finally, I managed to get her really close to me and whisper to her, when are the characters coming out? And of course, her face drops. She said, I was so nervous that you were going to ask me that because I saw the autograph books. No, there are definitely no characters for dinner.
No characters at all.
Just not even like one character.
Nobody's stopping by.
There's no characters.
Eeyore's not going to come by to pick up a check.
Right. It's not happening.
Like Mary Poppins isn't swinging by to do a musical number. Nothing.
She's not making a cameo.
Like nothing we could. But we had already ordered our drinks.
Well, I think actually, yeah, no, you're right. We had just ordered them, but even so, we couldn't leave.
Right, and it's a buffet.
Right.
So we're pretty much locked in at that point.
We're locked in. The kids are all comfortable. They're already eating because we had brought them their own food, so they're like already in the middle of eating. So anyone who either has kids, once was a kid, whatever, anyone knows, okay, the key to solving a crisis situation, which is what we had found ourselves in, is really quick thinking.
It's like when we had terrorists at the table.
But
you're like, this is gonna, if we don't figure this out, people will die in the situation.
But you guys know, come on. A lot of you know it does feel like that in the moment.
And listen, you don't want to. It's not even that. It's not even that you're afraid of their reaction.
No, you just don't want to let them down.
You just don't want to disappoint them.
Right?
Like
we built
talked it up so much.
Exactly.
We were both saying the same thing. We had talked that dinner up.
That's all we talked about.
And this is my fault. Like I should have known. I should have as a travel agent, literally.
But I don't think
I had never booked dinner.
Oh, that's what it was,
at that location before.
Right.
So I just assumed, because I never had kids there before for dinner.
Right. We've never been there for dinner.
Never. And I had never booked that for a client before for dinner. So I just assumed that the characters were there.
Obviously.
I didn't research it.
Clearly.
I didn't look into it.
Right.
There's no College of Disney knowledge course that says there is or isn't.
Right.
You just have to figure that on your own.
And we booked it
I decided not to figure it out.
Right. And it's not like I had called, like, if I called dining, they usually do say, like, this is going to be a character experience.
Right. We did it online.
We did it online, so there was no indication.
Right. So go ahead. So keep going. Okay.
So we're here, and
you got it. You're like a war room general at this point. You have to
Right.
start doing hand signals.
You can't.
You can't let the president know who are your children.
Exactly.
And there's a big problem in the room.
And you also
So it's
can't.
all hand signals and eye contact and
Absolutely.
faces, like mouthing. A lot of mouthing to each other. Like,
Tons of mouthing.
imagine right now, my mouth is saying, there are no characters here. Like, we were going back and forth. And like your eyes get real
Oh, they're
big and you
huge.
shake
They're
your
like
head,
falling out of your face. So, and you guys know too, there's absolutely no hesitation. You can't like take a moment to let it sink in how badly you've messed up.
No, it's strategy.
You have to
Instantly.
immediately jump into action and make a different plan. So as she was still finishing the sentence, I'm so sorry there are no characters. I've already assumed that's probably the case. So I've already picked up my phone and I'm looking to see where can we see characters right after this dinner because we can still salvage
Right,
it.
we're in Hollywood Studios.
Right, no big deal.
There's got to be characters out
yeah,
there.
like we will go see them. So no, that's not the case.
After 5 p.m., you
Right.
ain't meeting nobody.
That's correct.
Hollywood Studios, if you're not looking to meet Chewbacca or Kylo Ren, you're meeting no one.
You're out.
Yeah.
You're out. And actually, even 3 years ago, I don't even think they were there.
I don't think it was, I'm just
No.
saying for now.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So either way, we were out of luck for studios. So I was like, okay, so
Well, now, actually, to be fair, in 2018, you probably still had meet and greets going in Toy Story Land. But this
Right.
was 3 years ago.
This was 3 years ago. So you were definitely out. So I was like, okay, this is not going to work out in this park. Let me move on. So immediately I
Yeah, where
looked
can
up.
we get to quickly?
Right. So immediately I looked up Epcot because we should set the scene a little more to say, first of all, it was I don't know what time of year it
September.
was.
September.
And it was
It
unbelievably
was
hot.
amazingly hot. Yeah, it was
Just
September,
the hottest trip.
September of 2015.
Right. So
So
they
we
were.
had 2 almost 3-year-olds.
Yeah, they were 2. That's what I thought. So
And
they
an
were still
almost
in the
5-year-old.
coach all the time. And so was Lex. They
The
were
stroller.
all in the stroller. Sorry. They were all in strollers.
No, it's just that we use Coach a lot, but I know
It's
a
confusing.
lot of people don't know what the heck that is.
Yeah, so it's
That's like
strollers.
a regional thing, I think.
Yeah. So they're all in strollers, which is very important. But we had often made the walk from the studios to Epcot at that point. So we were comfortable doing it. We knew we could do it and we could do it fairly quickly. So I was like immediately looking up Epcot. Oh, I do have to say, we had purchased Snow White dresses for both girls that day, matching Snow White dresses. So I said, let me look it up. I found Snow White. She was going to be in Epcot. It was like crazy, crazy tight. It was like 6:30. It was insanely, unrealistically tight. But I was like,
I think
we're doing this.
we had about an hour, maybe a little less than an hour, from that moment where we looked on our app
Right,
to the second her meet and greet was done.
right.
Or that they like.
But we hadn't eaten yet.
I think she met at 6:30.
I think that's right.
This was about 5:30.
Yes.
She met at 6:30, and usually it's done by 6:45. They cut that line. You can't get in.
That's right.
Right.
So it's exactly right. So,
Yeah, so we hadn't even gotten our plates yet. I
no.
don't think.
So I was like, wrap it up. I said, let's go get our plates. We're meeting Snow White at 6:30. The good thing is, like,
And it's not like it's in like you gotta walk from Hollywood Studios.
oh, right.
So it's not like it's right next door. You gotta.
Oh, no.
So we'll get to that because it's the walk to Epcot plus getting into International Gateway.
Right. And getting out of studios.
Right, and then getting from International Gateway, getting from in between France and UK to Germany, which isn't a tiny little walk.
No, it
It's a
certainly
hike
isn't.
still inside the park.
So I do want to tell you guys that I remember so clearly saying, I remember looking at you and said, Snow White at 6:30, are we going to do this? And are we going to make it? And he looked right at me and he goes, we're doing this. So I said, okay. So we ran. I don't know what we ate. We must have eaten
I
2 bites of something.
distinctly remember macaroni and cheese for me.
I think I had like a
I think I had a
meatball.
bowl of mac and cheese and we ran.
I had like a meatball and we ran out of
Like
there.
left cash on the table
Yes.
and ran.
And the server was totally rude, like cheering for us the whole time. She's like, you can do it. So, okay. So yes, we have to walk into everything you just said.
Yeah. So you have to leave Hollywood. You have to get out of the restaurant, get them strapped into their strollers.
Right.
At that point.
No easy feet.
And we have this big, like, bulky double stroller.
And
that we're
they're
pushing
so
this into.
heavy.
And it's 92 degrees
It's
outside
92.
with 95% humidity in the middle of September. And you have to fight the crowd to get out of Hollywood Studios at dinner time. Then take that long walk. It's about, what is it, a mile between Hollywood Studios
absolutely.
and Epcot. Then go through the Epcot resort area. Like you get to, that walk takes you in between to Boardwalk.
Right.
So you got to do that long walk through Boardwalk.
Even as
over
you're telling
towards
me
Beach
this.
and Yacht Club, over that bridge,
Right.
down to where the Viewliner is going to pick you up now in the International Gateway entrance. Wait in line at International Gateway to get inside. Go through security, get into International Gateway, then run. At that point, we were literally running from the entrance of International Gateway through the Canada, or what's UK, through Canada, across the front of International Gateway, into Mexico,
Right.
into what's next? Norway, Mexico, right? Norway.
I think Norway, yeah.
Then Germany.
I think it's
top of my head,
third.
I can't remember, but it's at least we ran through like at least
It's
6
a lot.
countries, like 5 or 6 countries.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot.
think we missed China. It's somewhere. It's in the first couple countries. Anyway, I always forget the order, but yeah, okay.
And
So-
even as you're saying this now, I'm like, oh my gosh, we are crazy that we did this. But you guys have to just put yourselves in the position where you are the ones that built it up and you were like, this is what's happening for you guys tonight. And they've been thinking about this for months. And then you don't want to disappoint them. So you just try to think of something that's going to be as exciting as what you had promised them. So, okay. So now, finally, we're in Epcot.
Yes.
We are in, I don't remember what country.
I don't remember either.
And we're dripping sweat, absolutely dripping sweat. We've been running. We didn't walk because there was no walking.
It was a run.
It was a sprint, dead
yeah.
sprint with 2 different coaches, with, 3 children. And it was crazy. So we got there and I feel like we had like 15, 20 minutes until she was coming.
Right, until the line opened up.
Well,
no, you could wait in line until she actually made her way on stage.
Right. So we got beverages because we were so hot. We needed to cool down. So we got beverages and then
When you say beverages, you mean we got beer.
yes, we got
You and I
beer.
got a beer.
We did.
I got
They got lemonades and we
yes,
got beer.
They got frozen lemonades, yes.
And so then Phil says, okay, well, one of us should be in Germany when the line starts so that we can secure the position while the other person is catching up, to meet Snow White. And I said, that's a great idea. I said, oh, okay. Because I know.
The kids had sat down and had their drinks.
Yes,
We had about 10 more minutes until she came out.
correct.
So you said, you run. You go ahead.
You
You
run.
go get in line.
And I will admit that Phil said to me, but I can't run without a coach or a stroller. I need to take a stroller, but I can't really run with the kid in the stroller. I'm not going to be that fast. And I said, go, leave the strollers. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I said, you leave the strollers here and then I'll meet you. And he said, but you're not making sense because you're not going to be able to he didn't go into it, but he just said, you're not going to be able to do that because we didn't have time to discuss it. But he said, you're not going to be able to do it. And I said, yes, I am. Because I have a complex where I feel like people always tell me that I can't do things. I'm like, I can do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Go. And he was like, you're not making sense. You're not going to be able to do it. And I said, I'm going to do it.
You're like Nemo.
You're right.
You think you do
That's
things
right.
you can't, Nemo.
I am totally Nemo. I'm the human version. So I'm like, you're wasting time. Run to Snow White. And he said, okay, I'll see you in 5 minutes when you realize that you can't do this. And he ran. So I was like, I don't know what that guy's talking about. So I turned to check on one of the kids and somehow inadvertently my beer gets spilled. But it doesn't get spilled on the ground where who cares? It gets spilled directly into the diaper bag, which has everything, obviously, as you guys know.
Snacks.
Pull-ups,
and
diapers,
things.
snacks, drink, everything that you
Pull-ups, yeah.
need to have 3 children, completely soaked with beer. So I was like, and I was just looking down into it, and I heard a male voice. I didn't even look up at the person who said, do you need some napkins? And I just assumed it was like a custodial cast member. So I was like, yes, please. Thank you so much. And then the person immediately returned with the napkins. And guess what, you guys? It was we'll never forget this. It was like a teenager on vacation. Oh, and then the person said, can I help you clean it? And I said, sure. But then I looked up as a teenager on vacation with his parents. And I'm
Obviously
like,
just a kid that was being raised right.
Like a ridiculously wonderful kid. And I was like, oh no, please don't spend your vacation cleaning the beer out of my diaper bag. Go enjoy your night. So I'm trying to clean it out. I finally decided this is not my priority. My priority is going to be to get, to Phil, to get to Snow White, because we've done all this.
Meanwhile, I'm in line for Snow White, patiently, happily sipping my beer
waiting
in the shade, making conversation with people. I got there. I had the spot. I was calm. I was relaxed, drinking my ice cold beer, talking to the other parents in line. It was great. I had no idea this was going on with Amy.
Right. So then finally I'm like, forget it. Forget the diaper bag. We'll deal with that another time. We got to get to Snow White. That is when it hit me what he was talking about. How did I think that I was getting 2 strollers and myself and 3 kids by myself?
Because you basically had 2 2-year-olds.
2
who
2-year-olds
weren't going to walk.
who couldn't walk.
He could walk.
And even if
they
they
weren't
could
gonna
walk,
just
they
walk
can't
next to
push
you.
the stroller. Right. I had to push the stroller. I had to push the other stroller. And I had 3 kids. And I was like, oh, now I
You all
know
had
what
drinks,
he was.
And you had a half a beer left.
I was like, oh, now I know why he said that I can't do this. So I was like, okay. Again, went back into crisis mode and looked at Alexa, who I think was 4, I guess. Yeah, she was 4. They were 2.
Yeah.
She was 4. She was 4 years old. And I looked at poor Alexa and I said,
in her princess dress.
because I don't know, I didn't know how to fold, because I thought, okay, her coach is small or whatever. Stroller is smaller and lighter, and if I could just fold it up and strap it onto my back like a backpack,
because it has a strap.
Right. I can
Like a
strap it
shoulder
onto
strap.
I can strap it onto my back, then push the stroller with Jack and Zoe in it, and then Alexa can walk beside me. But I don't know how to fold it up. So I said, Alexa, do you know how to fold it up? Like, why would she know how to fold it up?
You asked a 4-year-old to fold the stroller.
So then I said, okay. No, then I said, Alexa, can you push your own stroller next to me? She's like, of course I can. I'm like, oh, great. Problem solved. So obviously she starts to push it and immediately smashes into like 8 people, knocks over like a display. I was like, okay, that's not going to work. So then I said, Lex, look around and tell me if you see a stroller that looks just like this one, because I thought any other parent, somebody knows how that they can come over and fold this stroller for me. So I was like, do you see a stroller that looks like yours? And she said, oh, Mom, yes, a purple one. And I said, once again, we're saved. Where is it? I'm like searching, around for the purple stroller. She said, oh, it was on the monorail 2 days ago. Because again, she's 4. So like, okay. So I said, okay, guys, okay. This is what we're going to do. Alexa, stay standing. I took her stroller completely full, open. The wheels are flailing, everything. I strapped that on my back. I turned around and I said, watch out, everyone behind me. I start pushing the stroller with Jack and Zoe in it with Alexa's coach, on my back, and Alexa walking next to me, trying to run. And as we're running, I see. Oh.
No, wait a minute. First of all, let me show you this from my point of view.
Okay.
Pause. I'm in Germany. I look up with the next country, Italy, maybe? I don't know. Whatever country it is. And I see probably 150 yards ahead of me.
Oh, you see it?
There's Amy.
Oh, I didn't know you saw me.
Coming towards me with a stroller on her back.
I'm so
that's fully
sweaty.
Open. She looked like a Sherpa with a pack.
Oh, and I had the diaper bag too.
And she's pushing.
It was dripping beer.
She's pushing 2 2-year-olds. She's got what looks like a tiny little accomplice walking next to her in a Cinderella or a Snow White dress with her Sherpa stroller backpack, sweating profusely, coming toward me. So I turned to the lady I was talking to in line and I said, excuse me, do you see that lady over there? I said, I have to go help her. That's my wife. I said, I told her she couldn't do this. But she insisted. So let me go. So the lady was so nice. She was like, yeah, of course. So she held my spot in mine. And I ran to come help you.
So all I see is the, heavens open up and this beautiful angel is sprinting toward me.
That's me.
And it's, of course, Phil. And I was like, and this
I've
is
never
the
been
best.
called a beautiful angel before.
This might be one of the best lines of the whole story because I said, oh my gosh, I said, how did you know to come running towards me? I said, I said, oh my God, or I said, how did you know that I was going to need your help? And he said, and I said, how crazy do I look right now? And he said, Amy, I knew because this is the exact scenario that I pictured you in. He said, there was no other scenario that I thought was going to happen other than exactly what
I tried to warn you.
So anyway, of course he rectifies the situation immediately.
Got the kids in line.
Get the kids in line.
Then, of course, Zoe starts screaming. She doesn't want to meet Snow White.
Oh, yeah. Then she doesn't want, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You're meeting her. No matter what.
The picture is iconic, actually.
It's amazing.
There's the one picture of Alexa that I got that I've used for my business for 3 years.
Because she was
It's
running.
Alexa from behind, in her Snow White dress, like skip running to Snow White. Why do I keep wanting to say Cinderella?
I don't know.
To Snow White. They're both obviously in Snow White dresses.
It's adorable.
And Snow White has her arms out, ready to hug Alexa. It's a great shot. I've used it for everything. It's like a...
Oh, you should put it as the cover.
There we go. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been like the cover shot of my business for years. And there's another shot that I should use of Zoe, sweaty, red-faced, scream crying that she wanted to meet Sophia and not Snow White. So
and no, the best part was that she wouldn't get in the picture. And so I was like, you got to get in the picture. We did all this for you. And she wouldn't get in the picture without me. So I'm in the picture.
yeah, in the family picture. I got to find that too. Because you're like the sweatiest version of yourself. there's ever been.
Reddest, grossest.
So yeah, that was there. I think we called it the Great Snow White Debacle. That was
But it had a super happy ending, which is we did end up meeting Snow White.
we did. She
Yes,
was awesome.
Zoe
We got
was
some
mad.
of the greatest pictures
Yes.
with our kids and a character we've ever had.
Zoe was mad. Lex was super excited. Jack was just happy to be around.
Yeah, he just doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He was
It
like
could have been-
probably eating Cheerios at the time.
We could have done all that production and met, a cast member from the Germany Pavilion, and he would have been just the same.
Right. But
He
either
would've
way,
been like, awesome.
it
Great.
was totally
Dude.
worth it, mostly because now, whenever we tell this story, they're always like, gosh, you guys really did a lot for us. And we're like, I know, you're welcome. Remember that when you're a teenager. But no, it was totally worth it because it's a hilarious story. Everything worked out great. And I'm glad that we did it.
And again, we messed up. We dropped the ball bad.
That was on
I
us.
dropped the ball. So we had to figure out how to fix it. So the next story is the second story we wanted to tell you is, again, my fault, mostly.
I have to
We're
agree,
all-
unfortunately.
We're all my fault.
Right.
And it is,
Right.
so when was this? In March, right?
Yep.
Not this past March, we went on a cruise with Amy's dad, his wife, Amy's sister and her husband for Amy's dad's 80th birthday. And then it was Amy and I and the kids. So again, you already know that we went on the cruise because you've seen pictures.
Right.
I
Right. It's
posted,
a happy ending.
already you know that we went on this cruise. I went on Facebook Live a lot and we were there. You've seen the pictures. But it doesn't have a very happy beginning, this story.
That's for sure.
Actually, no, the beginning was great. We went to Walt Disney World for a couple days, hung out with the kids, had a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Took the Disney transportation from our resort. Where did we stay? We stayed at Boardwalk?
Yes, and that's where it started getting dicey. Was on the bus
Why was it? Is that when we...
because
Okay.
that's when they started talking about it.
Right. So when you get on the bus from any Disney resort to Port Canaveral to board one of your Disney cruise ships,
Right.
they start, you have the Disney cruise representatives, they get on the Disney bus and they start telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going on a Disney cruise. And everybody goes nuts and it's so exciting.
I do have to tell you guys really quickly, just as an aside, it's an amazing experience.
It is. Especially going
it's super
from
fun.
the land part to the sea part.
They just make you feel so excited
and like a celebrity.
like a celebrity, and they tell you all these little tips and tricks that you would never have thought of. And it starts your cruise before you even get on the cruise ship.
It was awesome. And our kids, which is really cool, they give our kids like a flag and they got to
Oh,
lead
yeah.
the whole
They got to lead the
crew
whole
onto the
every
onto the
person
bus.
that was getting on the bus, which was like 100 people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people from
It was
Boardwalk
so
that day.
cool.
It was really cool. So, all right, so we get on the bus, and they not on the ship.
Not on the ship.
We get on the bus, and they tell us, you remembered your passports, your IDs, your kids' birth certificates, all the things that you need to board a cruise ship. And we're like, yeah.
Of course.
So
we checked a lot of times to
so
make sure we had
yeah, we made sure we had everything we needed. So we're driving, and I decided maybe like a half hour into the bus ride to get all of our paperwork in order.
Right.
So I have the kids' passports. the kids' birth certificates. And then I get a copy. I get Amy's passport, get that lined up. Then I get my passport out of my bag, open it, and then it expired. It completely expired.
Not the last week. Like it was like really
2 months expired.
Yeah.
It was like expired by 2 months.
That's right.
I am a travel agent. That's
You
what I do.
are correct.
I travel and help people travel. I always tell people, make sure to double check your passport. Make sure it's still what's the word?
Valid.
Valid. Make sure you have a valid passport. If you don't have a valid passport, bring your birth certificate. If it's a 4 or 5 day cruise to the Bahamas, because you don't, or to Nassau, because you don't need a passport. It's recommended, but you need your birth certificate to get on and off the ship at the Bahamas in Nassau. You need a birth certificate. I would recommend you bring a passport. I always recommend you have an active passport, but you can use your birth certificate if you need it.
You can still get on the ship.
Right. You can't now if you're going to a longer cruise. If you're going to one of the other islands of the Caribbean,
can you still get on the ship but not off the ship, or you can't even get on? Okay,
they won't let you get on.
Okay, that makes sense.
You need your passport if you're going on a cruise that will go to islands that require a passport.
That makes sense.
So, okay, now that we're about a half hour from the port,
right?
Everybody's getting excited because you see the water.
Oh, it's so exciting!
The kids are excited. Amy's excited.
Because I have a valid passport.
I have a pit in my stomach because I don't have a valid passport.
I don't even think you told me right away.
I didn't tell you.
I didn't think so.
I sat and stewed with a stomach ache for about 20 minutes. And then with about 10 minutes left.
And we're still like singing the Disney songs.
Oh my God, so excited watching the videos.
Yeah, there's videos.
So with about 10 minutes left in the bus ride, I poke my head up. Amy's in front of me. And I say, Ames.
The dreaded words.
Don't freak out.
I love when he says that.
Don't get mad. Don't get worried. I think I could figure it out. But my passport expired. The travel agent, the one who has never had a problem with a client ever.
No, with clients, you're on top of it.
I've never even had a complaint, really. I've had one bad review on Facebook that still gets me to this day.
He talks about it all the time.
One review, one thing. Anyway, one individual that, again, there was a miscommunication. She was upset. I understood it completely. I tried to fix it. What can you do? So, anyway, we get to the port. Amy's furious, quietly furious.
Really quiet, because I can't let the kids know.
Right. Like,
there's a possibility.
Your dad is the biggest screw up in the history of screw
but
ups.
if we were, went to all those lengths just because they couldn't see Sophia at dinner, imagine how we felt potentially having to say, just so you know, not all of us could.
Just by the way, Dad's not going on a cruise.
Yeah, I mean, imagine
he has to go back to Disney World for 5 days.
So I'm silent. I'm not letting on that inside I'm feeling many emotions.
So here's what I start thinking. One, I'm not getting on this cruise ship.
Right.
In my mind, I already start making preparations for, and I had said it to you. I said, listen, Ames, I'm not getting, I don't think I'm getting on.
Right.
And she said, what do you mean you don't think you're getting on? And I said, she said, like, percentage wise. And I was like 90% I'm not getting on this.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely a 90%.
And she's like, how did you let this happen? And I honestly said, I don't know. I didn't look. I should have. I didn't look at the date. I just thought it had another year.
But so again, I moved on really quickly, because there's no point in stewing about the 90% not being able to get on. There's no point. We got to try to make a plan.
So, but wait, before
we're talking about like
that,
DVC points, and could we go on the cruise without him? He could stay in Disney, and that because we had a room.
And then maybe we just all missed the cruise but it was already paid for. And
it was like a whole thing.
So I decide they're not even going to look at my passport. I just said to Amy, I said, they're not even going to look at the date. I'm just going to give it to them.
Yeah, you did say that.
And they're going to
Like,
let me
why
know.
did we think that was going to work?
So just so you know, security at the port is fantastic for Disney because the first thing the lady did when I handed her my passport was say, "This passport's expired." And I said, "I know, I didn't." And the attendants here are amazing. They're great.
They
But
are.
they are no nonsense.
No.
Like this is international security.
Yeah, they're not messing with
there
it.
are border patrol in the building.
Right.
They don't mess around. Like you don't have the right documentation. You're not going anywhere.
You're just not going on. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's border patrol with guns and dogs. They're not
right.
messing around. So I mean, that's you know, it's a big deal. So she says it's not like it expired last week. It
Right.
expired 2 months ago.
Right.
I can't let you on with this. And she said, you know what? Let me go talk to my manager, and we'll see what we can do.
Right.
She said, do you have your birth certificate? I said, no, I don't. I don't have it on me. She said, okay. She got everybody else checked in, Amy and the kids,
We're
all
set.
checked
We're
in.
like
They're
getting ready to go.
down the chute into onto the ship.
Right.
Right? There's like a gangway that you go down. You take your picture. You walk on the ship, and you're good. So they're not. You know, obviously, I can't go because I don't have my
No.
ID.
He is not ready to
I don't
go.
have my card, my key to the world card.
Right.
Obviously, to get on the ship. So the manager comes out and says, nothing I can do. He said, can you get a copy of your birth certificate? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, listen, you have an hour and a half or 2 hours until we close the doors and we're off. So do whatever you can in the next 2 hours to get your birth certificate. And I, being me, quickly go into like fix it mode. And I'm like, all right, this is the dumbest idea I ever had. It was a Sunday. I'm like, let me go online and see if I can just find a copy of it. What was I thinking? You can't just get a copy of your birth certificate
No.
online. It just doesn't work. And I found the Pennsylvania Department of Records, and they're like, our offices are closed on Sundays. We're open Monday to Friday. It takes 10 to 14 days to get a birth certificate.
Right.
So I was like, well, I don't have that kind of time. So
You have an hour and a half.
the really nice lady at the desk says to me, listen, do whatever you can. When you figure out if you have your birth certificate, get it emailed or faxed to us. Just wave your hand at me. Whatever I'm doing, I will stop, take care of you, and get you on the ship. I said, thank you so much. She was like, no problem. So I started making phone calls, right?
Right. Yes, you're right. We still were waiting. At this point, he said, what are you guys going to do? I said, we're going to at least wait to see. Let's wait because we still had time to get on. So I said, let's just wait and see what progress you make.
It's funny now.
Let's just wait and see what progress you make. And then we'll decide the best. You will make the right decision, when it gets really close to when we have to get on the ship or we're not going to make it.
Okay.
So go.
So I start making phone calls. I call my dad. I call my mom. I call friends. I get nobody. Literally get nobody. Like nobody's answering. I know my parents have an extra key to my house. I have an idea where my birth certificate is in our house. I don't know for sure though.
Right, like a vague concept.
Like, I have like 4 locations in the house where it could be. Right now, in September of 2018, I know exactly where it is. But that day, I was like, I don't know. So finally, my mom answers, and my mom isn't the calmest of people,
but she is somebody who will do absolutely anything.
Do anything for anybody, especially for her kids.
And especially
But
for
her
grandkids.
first thing was, how the HE double hockey stick did you do this? And I was like, Mom, and I think I said to her, Mom, I understand that you think this is crazy, and it is. You will have the rest of my life.
This is exactly
to
what he
give
said.
me all the HE double hockey sticks in the world for this. Just not now.
Right
all
now, try to solve the
Like, this is
problem. We have an
crisis
hour and a
mode.
half.
Yeah. So that we couldn't find my dad, who's
Right,
the
we
only one
couldn't
that
find
drives.
him.
My mom doesn't drive. She couldn't get to my house fast enough. My dad does. So finally, Amy, there's about half hour left,
I think so.
probably, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And Amy says, "We're getting on the ship. We have to go."
You told me to
Right? I
get
told
on.
you to get on the ship.
And I said, I don't think I should get on without you. And you said, go, because it's your family. It's your dad's 80th. You can't not go, and the kids can't not go. So you guys get on. And I said, well, are you going to be able to come with us? And he said, this is what he did, you guys. He looked right at me and goes, I think so. I was like, that's super reassuring. But in the end, it did make the most sense for me
Yeah, you had
and
to
for
go.
the kids. I couldn't not let the kids go. We've been talking about this forever. And I said, okay, you're right. But oh my gosh, I just really hope that you get on. But I was like, okay, so really quick, just to pause you, just to give you guys the experience that I got on. I'll never forget when you get on the cruise ship, it's like such an exciting, well, supposed to be such an exciting moment. They make a huge deal. They take a big family
announce.
picture. They announce you coming on. The Grandma family is here. Everyone's screaming and cheering. There's like drinks being offered to you. They take a big picture, and I will never forget. They said take a family picture, and I said, "Can you just get the kids?" And they said, "No, we love for everyone in there." So I remember the picture. I look like I'm crying. I'm not actually crying, but I feel like there's.
I
The
think there was
tears are
rage.
so close.
There
I was
more
maybe rage
than anything
and
else.
terror. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it was just so many emotions. It's not a good picture. We did not buy the picture. And the kids, by the way, don't know anything. So the kids are like, oh, that's weird. Dad's not behind us while we're getting on the cruise ship. We're such ridiculous liars that I said, no, he's getting out. He's just going to the bathroom. I mean, are you kidding me that I lied like
40
this?
minutes.
I said, he's just going to the bathroom and he's going to meet us. And because we have trusting children, they're like, oh, cool, he'll be right here. Like, no idea, right? So I'm my whole body's shaking. I'm like freaking out. So, and no one else knows because I can't get in touch with my family. They're already on the cruise ship. So they only know where we said that we were going to meet at Cabanas, which is the buffet. We're going to meet there. They have no idea that I do not have my husband with me. Go.
Okay, so finally, I get in touch with my dad. There's about 40 minutes left, and my dad's like, "Hey," you know, my dad's like, what's going on?
What's up?
I'm like, Dad, no talking right now. Okay, listen, I said, you're going to kill me, but I need a favor. I need my birth certificate. And he's like, oh yeah, right. He's all mad. And I go, Dad, again, same as my mom. Stop talking. Like, I love you to death. Just don't be a dad right now. I need a favor. He's like, go to my house. Here are the places where my birth certificate can be. I need you to take a picture of it on your phone and email it to me. That's all I need you to do. My dad, 63 years old, doesn't know how to use his
He still
smartphone.
had a flip phone. at
No,
that
he had a
point.
smartphone.
Oh, he did. That's right.
He had a smartphone.
He just
it's
got
it's like
them.
an Android. Doesn't know how to take a picture of this.
No.
phone. He's like, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, all right, there's a Kinko's near my house. I said, they have a fax machine. So I said, so he's on the phone with me and I'm walking him through. Now we have a crawl space in our basement that goes underneath the kitchen and dining room. I'm like, Dad, it's in one of the bins in the crawl space. So I hear my poor dad, again, who's 63 years old, on his hands and his knees, ripping open these big plastic bins. I said, Dad, it's in. This is how ridiculous it is. I go, I keep it in a treasure chest. And he goes, you what? I'm like, I have a little treasure chest. I keep
I'm
all my
laughing because it's completely true.
It's true. It's a little wooden treasure chest that I keep all my important documents in. I have like the deed to the house. I have my birth certificate. I have the kids, like actual birth certificates.
By the
I
way,
have
should
marriage
we be
license.
revealing this on this podcast?
Probably not. But what's it? There's no financial documents
No.
in there. So what's going to happen? So, and nobody knows where the treasure chest is now.
That's true.
So I hid it. It's buried in the backyard. So
Maybe.
now you need a shovel to get to that sucker. So he's ripping bins open, looking for the treasure chest. Can't find it. So we're at a loss. And we got about a half hour left. And I go, oh, you know what, Dad? I think it's in my closet, my bedroom. And he's like, you son of a... He's all mad at me. Goes upstairs. I hear him rummaging through my closet. He's like, treasure chest, I found it. I'm like, all right. So he's like, I got it. I got your birth certificate. I'm like, okay, good.
Amazing, right?
I'm like, now take a picture of it. And he's like, I can't take a picture. So I go, okay, go to Kinko's.
Bring it.
Take it to Kinko's. Get him to get a copy of it. Send it here as soon as that's done. So he gets to Kinko's. He calls me. Literally, I'm down to 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And the lady,
definitely.
the lady's looking at me like shaking her head, like you're not getting on the cast member. And I'm just like, I tell her, my dad's sending a copy now. So he gets to Kinko's. He's like, what's their phone number? I got to get them the phone number. So I'm talking to the guy at Kinko's. The guy at Kinko's is like, what do you need, son? I'm like, dude. So we're yelling at the guy at Kinko's. The poor guy. He just
He's
came
so
to work
nice,
that day.
too. He's so nice.
So then I see the cast member, her eyes light up as the fax machine starts running. She looks at me and smiles and thumbs up. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. So she prints out my stuff, gives me the key to the remote card. She's like, go, go, go. So I run down the gangway with my stuff, get onto the ship. The photographers are no longer there. They're not even taking
There's
pictures.
no photographer now.
I'm the last, literally,
You are absolutely
the last one on that ship. I run on the ship, but the announcers are still there in the walk.
Oh, that's
in the
right.
atrium when you first walk in. So there's a big crowd of people who are waiting for the cruise to
Who
start.
are calmly excited.
Have their drinks.
They had no problem. Yeah, they've already
I
had
run in
drinks,
with my
lunch.
bag, with my camera bag, with my carry-on, and the announcer's there, and he goes, and I'm like just completely out of sorts, no idea what's going on.
Right.
And he goes, "Good afternoon. What's your name?" And he gives me the microphone, and I go, "Phil." And the whole cruise ship is like, "Woo!" And everybody starts clapping, and he's like, "Hi, Phil. Where's your?" And I'm like, "I gotta go." So I ran up to Cabanas. I found the kids. I found Amy. The kids at that point we said, "Oh, by the way, I almost didn't come on the ship." Like,
We're
by the
such
way-
jerks. Not only do we lie to them, but then we do tell them the truth after.
well, because you have to be honest with your family. I think
Right.
it's fair.
Because they were like, God, Dad, is your stomach okay? You were in the bathroom for 2 hours.
I'll never forget though. When I got up to the room, to the restaurant, I threw my bag down. I was so sweaty. I said to Amy, like, "I told you I was fine." Blah blah.
He
And-
did. He actually said, I told you didn't have to worry.
Yeah, I got on with like 5 minutes to spare, and I remember looking at your dad and being like, "I cannot believe that happened." And your dad actually made me feel really good. He was like, "I forgot my passport once." He was like, "I went somewhere, totally forgot it." But this was like pre 9/11, so it was before all like.
Right.
There's- If you forget your passport now, there's no way you're getting on.
Right.
So
No.
please remember when you get on a Disney Cruise Line, make sure your passport.
But
is
check
up
it
to date.
first. Yes.
I
he
know.
had his passport. It just didn't
was
do
the
him
problem.
any good. Right.
Is every time that people were like, "Do you have your passport? Do you have your passport?" And I would get
I
it, and I
said
would
it to
say,
you
"Yes,
80 times.
here it is. I have it,"
Right.
not realizing that it expired. So it's a very embarrassing story for a travel agent to tell. But I'm hoping that with this story, people will get like, okay, like that, like when he says stuff like, "Make sure you check your passport."
He's not
Check
just
your
saying
dates.
it for fun.
Yeah, it's not just like a little thing that he has to do. It's because he almost didn't get on a Disney Cruise Line ship with his family. And it was a really fun cruise, so I would have missed out.
I was going to
a
say, it
lot.
was an awesome experience. I'm
Yeah, we got
so
to
glad
meet
you were there.
Spider-Man, and we saw Spider-Man. We got to meet Captain America. We went to, Castaway Cay, and we did the Frozen show, which is amazing.
Yeah, we didn't miss
on
out
the
on
Disney
anything.
Wonder. And now I think the Wonder is in Alaska, but the Frozen show is still there. That Frozen musical was amazing.
Oh, yeah, that's an awesome.
So I'm just going to end it here because I seriously am noticing your medication kicking in on you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Amy has to take pain medication for her ovarian cyst. And I don't know if you've noticed in the last couple of minutes, she started getting quiet. And I looked over and her eyes, her pupils are getting smaller.
I'm so
So
sorry.
she just stopped responding a couple
I'm
minutes
so
ago.
sorry. I
So-
warned you.
So thank you again
He
for
said,
being on.
"Can you do a podcast today?" He said, "Well, do you think that I'll sound funny?" And he said, "You'll be fine."
So now we know the answer.
No, but thank you for
No, this
having
was fun.
me.
And listen, this all kidding aside, the first story is just a fun story. The second story, I hope, can kind of be a cautionary tale.
Although the first story can help too. I will say, like, we just had no idea that they weren't. We just assumed because there were characters for lunch that there were characters for dinner. Don't assume that. And also,
And you know what? Ask me, because
yeah, now he knows.
it's not even that I know now. It's that I research everything.
Yeah,
I never, before I give an answer, I never just give an answer. Even if I am 99.99999% sure that I know the answer, I always double check first.
right. But also,
Because
I
the
was
last thing you want to do is give somebody the wrong information.
oh, absolutely. But also, I was going to say too, something that Disney does, and in fact, they do it now at the restaurant that we were just talking about, is just because there are certain characters for breakfast or lunch doesn't mean it's the same characters that are at the dinner.
Right, like 1900 Park Fair, for example, does a completely different character breakfast than they do at dinner.
Exactly.
Like for breakfast, it's still Mary Poppins and the Mad Hatter. And
Right.
then for dinner, it's Cinderella and her wicked stepmother and the stepsisters and Prince Charming. Same at the one we just said, Hollywood and Vine. the morning is still the Disney Junior one, and the morning and the afternoon. And now the evening is the mini seasonal play dine.
Which is awesome, yes.
We've done it. I loved it. We really loved it. The characters were great. The one thing we had an issue. No, the characters were really, really good. We had an issue, I remember that time, about Minnie passed us by like 4 times. It was a really weird thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think we were seated in a strange
I forgot.
spot.
I think we were, yeah.
And I remember, I think they didn't have the rotation down
right.
well yet.
I think it was really new.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the first week. And Minnie just kept walking by our table. And our kids, and like normally, if it was you and I, or we had older kids, you'd be like, whatever. But it's Minnie.
Right.
And your girls want Minnie.
That's why they're there.
And Mickey, I think, doesn't walk the room. He's at the...
I think he's like a greeter.
Yeah, he's at the greeter. You walk in to get your picture with Mickey, to meet him.
I think you're right.
It's a neat thing. And they change costumes by season, which is really cool. So
I know, isn't that cool?
Halloween, they wear the Halloween costumes.
Yes. Oh, that'd be so
Thanksgiving,
cute.
they're Thanksgiving outfits. Maybe it's Christmas. I think they're not their
Probably
Christmas
Christmas.
stuff.
I think they're like fancy Christmas.
Yeah, and like spring, they wear like kind of the bright like pastel kind of stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, and summer they wear summer clothes. It's a really fun thing. I'll tell you what's now we're on a little bit of a tangent at the end of the show here. Tell you what's completely underrated is the food at Hollywood and Vine.
Nobody talks about it.
I think the food is really good.
It's always been excellent. And
it's a buffet, and I know it turns a lot of people off buffets.
I know.
I wish they didn't though. Look, I wish the buffet didn't have that almost not sleazy, but almost like that it sounds like not as good.
Right.
You hear the word buffet and you're like, I don't want to do a buffet.
Some of that food is definitely better than food that you can order off menus.
I agree. I think the buffet there is really good.
It is great.
Cape May Cafe buffet for dinner, I think is really
that
good.
is unbelievable with all the seafood.
Yeah, listen, there are some buffets that I don't love. Chef Mickey's buffet for breakfast, I don't love it.
Right.
Characters there are just phenomenal. I think the setting there is amazing with the monorail.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
And you're in the contemporary. It's, geez, it could be 1975 Walt Disney World, and it feels the same.
Absolutely.
Classic Disney experience. Listen, we've eaten there a bunch. I never thought the food was very good. I just don't. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best. No, I've definitely had better breakfast.
Like, I do Tusker House over that breakfast every time.
For some reason, I think Tusker House is the best breakfast.
And one of the ones that's
Food-wise.
easiest to get at 180 days out.
I know.
Even 30 days out, you can
It's
still
really
nail that.
good.
It's a really good breakfast. It's not, and a really good lunch and dinner too. They have, it definitely has an African and Asian kind of influence,
which is
in the
fun
foods.
because it's different foods that you wouldn't necessarily get to try.
Yeah, but then they have this stuff like if you're worried about that stuff with your kids, they have chicken nuggets and tater tots for your kids,
and they have the Mickey waffles
for breakfast.
For breakfast,
right. Their breakfast fare is a lot more normal breakfast fare.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's a great place as far as character meals go.
But make sure you know what characters will be there.
Yeah, look, that's what it is. Is do your research, or book with me, or I have other agents that work for me. Go to eartotheretravel.com/agents. I don't like to say they work for me. They don't. We work together. They're just as qualified. So I have a little heartburn. I keep in a swallow. They're just as qualified as me, as I am to book a trip, and they're all awesome, and they can take care of you as well. So just do the research. Let us do the research for you. We'll help you with the characters. Don't be like us.
Exactly.
If you can learn anything from this episode, don't promise your children anything at all
until it happens. like
go,
as it's about to happen.
Go into Walt Disney World as a complete surprise for your kids. I think that works. And remember to check your passport because it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Ames, you're barely hanging on. Thank you for
Thank you so much for having me. I really had so much fun.
No, you're the best. And
you're the best.
You know what? That's true. We'll end it there. Bye-bye. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There Disney Podcast. Thank you once again to my co-host, the lovely Amy Elizabeth Levitt Gramlich. If you're looking for her full name, she's the best, and she's always there in a pinch when I need a co-host, and she's awesome, and she's so much fun to have on the show. So keep your fingers crossed that she starts feeling better soon, because she really did record this podcast in a ton of pain. So thank you to Amy Liz. She's the best. And thank you again so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this kind of a departure, a little bit of a different kind of episode. Once in a while, I like to do a different type of show just to kind of keep the show honest and on its toes. and really to see what you like and respond to and write to me about. And so do me a favor, if you like this show, if you didn't like this show, if you just have a comment to make, head to eartotheretravel.com/message. Send me a message about it. Like I said at the start of the show, every one person that sends me a message will be entered into a contest to win a candle from the Magic Candle Company. All right, so that's it. Stop listening. Go home. That was my Ferris Bueller moment. Remember Ferris Bueller when he's like, why are you still here? Go home. At the end of the credits. Anyway, just remember there will be a new episode of the Ear to There Disney podcast each and every Monday, as well as an episode of the Word of the Week, or keep your fingers crossed for It's a Food World every Thursday. So until next time, thank you again, seriously, so much for listening. It is always greatly appreciated. You are awesome. Have just a phenomenal week. Bye-bye.
Ear to there.